Jump right into that. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, go ahead, drop the intro so we can get into it.
this is the fastest intro we ever have. I don't even have a word picked out yet right now. Oh my
Man,
god!
let's get come on, man.
I got
Hype.
it.
Yo, hype
I got it.
post.
I got
Yo,
it.
hype post.
The revitalize, resurrect, the
I got it.
resurrected host.
Man, the Gulag champion host.
Yeah, I know, right?
What's going on, Piglets? It's your boy Taylor B, and I'm joined by my horny co-host Daniel, DJ, and Joey. Welcome to another installment of Culture by the Uncultured. And before we go any further, be sure to click that follow or subscribe button. And remember, Culture by the Uncultured is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and SoundCloud. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Culture by the Uncultured. All right, jumping right in. It looks like Jong-Un won his Gulag match because he's alive here. He's alive, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what the hell is going on right now. The world leaders are going crazy as far as like in America and all over the place. Wild things are happening everywhere. But Kim Jong-Un managed to survive whatever was going on with him. There are so many rumors and just I don't know what's happening. Have you guys heard anything else? Because I just read something that was interesting. I don't know if it's true, but
All I know is we had planned on talking about Kim Jong-Un, talking about, all of a sudden he's not sick no more. He's live and well, waving his hand in a big old picture on Instagram, all social media. And then just right now, what'd you read? Was it some booyaka shot or what happened?
I just read something that says Kim Jong-Un faked death to see who in his inner circle would take power. That he was basically looking for traitors in his inner circle.
Wow. What? He is so real, bro. He's so hood. This is like, it's like on my. But what source is that coming from? Please, just don't say it's like Squiggly Pickly or something. You know what I mean?
This is from a site called Express. So I don't know how legit their sources are, or anything like that. The only other thing I've seen is I've seen pictures of him. There's video of him. People just saying that he's videos of him being alive have resurfaced. Imagery of him being alive have resurfaced. I don't know how valid any of this stuff is. Hell, it could be North Korea just trying to say, "Oh no, he's fine, he's okay." I seen something that compared the situation to a Weekend at Bernie's, basically saying that they're trying to act like he is still alive. Like, what is going on?
Just another day at the office, faking my death. Yeah.
Trying to get his inner Tupac on, man. It's all good. Just let him do it.
Yeah, chilling in Cuba for a few weeks. I'm back, y'all. I'm back. How's it living?
He came back real quick. He was just like, I'm not going to retirement yet. I'm back.
Bro, he was fake brain dead for 2 hours already talking about, his sister gonna take place and blah blah. So I guess he was looking to see who was gonna argue with her over it.
Man, he just got drunk. He just got drunk, had a hangover, didn't wake up till 2:00 in the afternoon. Was like, what the hell's been going on?
Man, I can see them all sitting there, like everybody's just all ho hum about, I don't know if he's doing all right. I don't know who's gonna take over, and then all of a sudden you hear the speakers go, "Woo! Bring them out! Bring them out! Bring them out!" It's hard to get with
That is crazy.
They're saying that North Korea had apparently fired shots at the demilitarized zone, which is like the hostile border between South Korea and North Korea. And this was published yesterday, this article that I'm reading now.
So they were trying to hide him in case shit popped off?
I mean, I don't know. This is
all for one, huh? All for one.
The Supreme Leader, huh? Shoot.
Yo, that's wildin'. I think it really is as complicated and as crazy and exciting as we're trying to make it sound. To be
for sure. I mean, I can't imagine being in a position where you could even fake your own death to like get away with whatever he might have tried to get away with. Whether it's he really was just trying to expose like the haters in his circle, or if he was just like maybe trying to pass on power, but then it was just like, you know what? Never mind, I ain't gonna do that yet.
I was scared, man. I was scared because in case he did pass away, and in case his sister Kim Yo Jong took over, I was worried about what the hell Donald Trump might say next. He might hit her on TV with that Saki $5 and I might lose my shit, bro. I might lose my shit. Oh man. Anyway, that's what the hell? What's the facts on that? We're never gonna know. We're never gonna know.
At least not for a couple of years, or until this way later when this quarantine is almost over in the year 2022.
I got an idea. Is there like a cartoon series or anything where they go back and recreate historical things and what might have happened?
Not that I can think off the top of my head, but there was the show Drunk History. I don't know if you guys ever heard about that.
That would
It
be
was like
competing with that. Okay.
it was like reenacting like events, but like professors would tell the story, but like drunk. So then it would like be like hella different than it actually was.
That's funny. No, yeah, I'm talking about just making up a bunch of BS of what might have actually happened.
Looney Tunes.
Yeah. All right, but all right, let's I guess just is that the end of like the general news? That's pretty much it, right? For Korea, well, and other big old government cover-ups. The UFOs are confirmed real
My
by the
guy,
US government.
my guy Brandon was pressed on social media, fam.
Yeah.
He over here was losing it. He was like, "You mean to tell me they've been telling us for all this time that UFOs are fake?" And all of a sudden, just 2020, yeah, they're real. We got videos. Like, who does? Who does? It makes me want to watch that scene from Men in Black again. Remember, the Light of Dartha?
It is at this moment in time that I want to offer my sincere apologies to everybody in the Area 51 thing that I laughed at. Y'all were right.
Dang! Imagineer that. That's crazy.
The super wild part too is that even with the term UFO, it's like somebody pointed out that like it doesn't mean aliens, and I was like, I never said anything about aliens. It could be aliens, but I'm not suggesting that it is. What I was more concerned with was that if it is something of this world, then that means that there is a place or a country that is way more technologically advanced than we previously thought.
Thank
Or
you.
there is a place, or there's a place that is completely hidden and that we have not reached yet somehow.
I mean, come on. I think Daniel's about to get his conspiracy things because
they told you the truth about Wakanda.
I mean, come on, man. It's just like, is this all for show? Like, who knows? 2020 has done everything, but pretty much surprised me at this point. Like, what's next? What's next, bro?
My theory specifically for the UFOs was that it's either alien in origin. It's a highly advanced country that we are like basically what's the word underestimating, or that we haven't like somehow we haven't got there yet, or it's like possibly even like a time traveler or something. I know I sound freaking crazy nuts right now saying this stuff, but what the hell else? You know?
No, I'm interested, fam. And if it is of this earth and it's people on this planet that are kind of pretty much dusting us, with advancement, they're definitely living in a place where it's cold. That's where a lot of people don't live. That's where you can preserve a lot of things without even trying. That's you know what I'm saying? And I've always thought about that. That's why, to me, the most intriguing. Remember, now that you brought up Wakanda, remember that movie? My favorite part was when they went up to the mountains and visited like the snow Africans. My mind was blown. I was like, bro, they got snow Africans here. I was like, can you imagine like the type of things, like if their skin adapts to heat, right? I mean, we've all been through that conversation, and then. And then you have like, they're up there where it's like 0 degrees. So their temperatures are like super wide. It just blows my mind. So I think if people are here, they're definitely somewhere it's cold.
Yeah, it's facts that you say that, because it leads me into one of my first conspiracy.
Once again, welcome back to Daniel's Conspiracy Corner. Wow.
I'm telling you, we need the sound drop. But you might be right about it being in a cold place. There's this one place that's really cold that nobody's allowed to even go. Nobody's even allowed to land a plane there. Nobody's allowed to land a boat there. It's called Antarctica. You're not allowed to go there. So if they're hiding someplace besides Area 51, if they're hiding these aliens, if they're hiding these UFOs, it's going to be Antarctica. So you might be onto something with that. They living in a cold environment and they just adapt to our heat, because that's the only place in this entire world that we cannot go arbitrarily at all.
Yeah, it'd be pretty crazy. I also think that another little like conspiracy that I had in a conversation I had on Facebook too, that nobody really seemed to care about too much was, so I had kind of pointed out that, once you kind of have your society silenced, or, kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Just like calm, and like you can't do anything, you can't go outside or anything, right? We're stagnant basically, right? We're nothing in us right now. So you have your society like that. You can pretty much say and do whatever you want, and what are we going to do about it? It's not like everybody's going to risk, like, if COVID-19 is this big of a deal, then if they could say right now, like, oh, like, we've been doing whatever to the water this whole time and you guys didn't even know it, and then people are going to be like, oh, damn, that's crazy. But not everybody's going to risk leaving their homes and marching up to whatever water plant or to the White House or whatever because of COVID-19 or whatever. Some people are going to stay home. Some people may gather out and protest or whatever, like the idiots right now that are protesting a virus right now, which is crazy. So it's, they could say, they can pretty much say and get away with whatever they want. So that's why I feel like this was like an opportune time. This is almost like a test run, something so simplistic in nature as a UFO. And I get their excuses are, it doesn't pose a threat to any kind of like national security by exposing the truth about these videos or whatever. Some people saying these are just scratching the surface. There's way more intricate stuff or whatever. And I'm just like, well, if we can't do anything, then it's like, this is a perfect time to say and do whatever you want to the country. And then we're just going to be like, okay, just because of the state that we're in right now. So I also I pointed that out and thinking that maybe it might kind of like, man, that's kind of crazy, because that's true. Like, what could we do right now about anything that they say or do right now? And the answer is nothing. We're just going to sit in our homes and wait till this blows over. And some of us are going to proceed to go to work. Some of us will be on unemployment. But for the most part, as much as we can, we're going to proceed with our normal everyday lives and act like pretty much nothing ever happened. Because, I mean, that UFO thing was a couple days ago. I haven't heard a single word about it, like, the next 2 days after that. I haven't heard nothing about it.
That's how fast we move. That's how fast we're moving. Crazy.
And I get that people are saying that they're old videos, but the fact of the matter is a pilot was saying that, and then nobody was backing him. The government was not backing him.
Not one person.
There's a big difference now that the government is coming forth and saying, yeah, these are legit. Like, that's way different. And then people are trying to say, like, oh, science can show that it's this or that or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, well, why wouldn't the government say that then? Why would the government just say UFOs exist, and then they would have nobody look at the video and analyze it? None of their own scientists. You don't think we have our own scientists or people to figure out what the hell is going on in this video, whether it's doctored or whether it's a lens flare or sunspot or whatever the hell it may be, anything at all. I don't see why you wouldn't think that the government would think to say that first before just saying, yeah, UFOs exist. Like, what? I don't know. People just be like, they'll just take anything for an answer. And I'm just like, man, like, we can't, because that's what's going to get us into the position where they're going to tell us anything. And we're just going to be like, yes, sir. Right away, sir. And that's it. We're never going to question anything. We're never going to try to fight for anything. We're never going to proceed to move forward as like an actual society and quote unquote overthrow our government and then make it a better place for us to live in, But
first of all, that was way too rational to be a damn conspiracy. You can't call it a conspiracy and it makes sense. Like, come on.
Oh, man.
You got to say something outlandish. Like the same people that make these UFOs are the same people that make the pyramids.
hey, that's what I was touching on earlier, man. I don't believe all that jive. I think there is a higher power of people who walk in our life. And like, think about hundreds of years ago. How are they making pyramids for real? You know how heavy them things are, and for that shape to be able to have something underneath it to lay it down like that. Come on, fam.
I think I figured it out when I was watching. Well, I was watching a mix of Eddie Griffin, and when he was talking about it's a diamond, and then I was watching some random show where they're talking about the pyramids of Giza used to be completely covered in sand. Like, why is this all covered in? There's a certain section of one that they're like this complete area was underwater at some point or was underground at some point. Now it's just like, well, what if they just started at the top and just dug all the way down until they made the pyramid?
Yeah. That's the only thing that makes sense. That's the only way that makes sense, is if they made it underground as a tomb.
Yeah, like you guys were saying, I never even thought about that. Like, that's actually extremely smart when you think about it.
Yeah, who wants to start digging a pyramid? Hit me up this weekend, and we go get started. We go get started on my ancient ruins. You know what I'm saying?
But moving on from there, though, let's go ahead and get into this music, because I know we're all dying to talk about that new Drake tape, right? From the Dark Lane demo tape or whatever.
Yeah, I'm dying. All right.
I say Joey starts this one off, because you had some smoke for Drake earlier.
I had some smoke, but I feel like it was well earned. Because if you ask me, the last 2 years have been a decline for Drake, bro. I mean, the extra little soft cupcakey goofy features that you've been doing, the little sing along music that you've been doing. I mean, people was giving you crap for being soft for years and years, and we was just sitting here backing you up. But he's got bars though. But did he write them though? Yeah, the content isn't something that can be written for, but the flow is there. But the flow is taken. You know what I'm saying? So like, we've done our best to support you and back you up time and time again. But I think 12 years has come to a good close, fam. I don't know. I just don't know. Everything he put out this time was either boring, hella slow, super sampled to where I felt like, let me just go listen to the real song. And I don't, bro, you lost me, fam. I don't know. Like there was still two songs in there that I would probably bump into the, throw into the Drake shuffle, of mine. But apart from that, I'm really glad it's not an actual album. And like you said, I'll give it to you. I kind of tone it back a bit, but I'll wait until the album drops in the summertime to give my true. And don't get me wrong, he knows, he reads and he sees things. He knows how people feel. I feel like it's just a setup to come hard as hell this summer. I feel like he's gonna speak some heat again this summer.
That's exactly what I was saying. Was like, although this album, like, or I don't know if you want to call it an album, mixtape, whatever you want to call it, I feel the same way. This album was kind of lacking in almost every regard of whenever I think about Drake. But it does have its songs. It does have like the Tootsie Slide. I know that a lot of people gave the Chicago Freestyle a little bit of heat, but it's what you expect out of just an album that's going to come over and hold people over. Like I agree with you in the fact that this isn't been his best work, and there's definitely, I know there's people talking about controversy of whether he's still has a ghostwriter because of all these other songs that are coming out that just don't sound right compared to him. But it does make me feel as though this next album, he's going to do what he does all the time. He's going to come out and he's going to drop an album that everyone's going to be like, you know what? We were wrong. Drake's really the GOAT in whatever aspect it might be.
But we can, I know a lot more people who have been on board with the idea that Drake is a bit of a wave rider, but we all know what waves do. Waves crash, bro. So who knows?
Yeah, but you got to think about it. He dropped Views, which a lot of people thought was one of his better albums. Came back with More Life, with a lot of fans, a lot of people skipped for the most part. A lot of people, there was some good hits on that album, but a lot of people were like, More Life was kind of average.
And that's when he first came out and was like, oh, it's a playlist, not an album.
Yeah, and then he dropped Scorpion. And we had this kind of like, it's like you said, that wave, he rides waves. It's kind of the same thing with his albums so far. They've been
there was an excuse for that one too. And when he said there's the A sides and the B sides, and like one side was kind of like more hip hop based, and the other side was like more like R&B and like singing and stuff.
I think that's playing it safe.
Yeah, it is.
That's playing it safe. For
sure, absolutely.
That's definitely a business tactic.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think that we'll ever see anything from him that's like the equivalent of like. I would believe this is his last project.
Say it.
Last great project.
Kendrick. Just say it. Every time we compare somebody to, I'm not saying he's a. Yeah, you could just say it, Kendrick. You know what I'm saying?
So the thing about Drake is that he doesn't have content as far as like the heart and soul like a Kendrick or a J. Cole. He has more poppy based like sounds, and he has more like things that aren't as relatable to people. He raps about love and stuff sometimes, sure, and people can relate to that. But he's like more extravagant hip hop,
trying to floss on people. That's that Canadian stuff, bro. That's that Canadian stuff. I told you.
So like you said, he's catching a wave too, and it's like you can hear it in the project with the last two songs. I think are Demons and War. Those are both drill songs, and it's like I don't know. There is no way both these songs would have ever made like a legitimate Drake project.
Oh yeah,
like if it was like produced by 40, and he was like, oh, we were strapped in all summer or whatever, locked in, in the studio knocking this out. He would have never done this. He probably met these guys or hung out with them one time, and it was like, oh, I like this. I'm gonna shoot me some send me some vocals, and then I'll throw it on a song, and we'll maybe release it or something.
I think that's the text I sent earlier. I believe I said it. I feel like if you look at all Drake's albums and take the worst 3 songs off of all of them and put them together, that's the album you got, or that's the project you got. That's how I really feel. That was genuine for me.
Yeah, well,
it could all just be as well. Like these are, kind of like those extras. You know how?
Oh
Because
yeah, these are them throwaway flows, you know.
yeah, those
And
are things that he was like, they got full production value, but at the end of the day, they didn't make the album. So he was like, oh, I'm just gonna throw all these together.
the part that got
going on and all that stuff.
yeah, exactly. And the part that got me was, and let me be clear. Let me Stephen A. Smith you real quick. Let me be clear, okay? I'm not the biggest Eminem fan. Like Daniel will tell you, you know, I respect Eminem as a rapper, but musically, I'm not the biggest Eminem fan because I'm more of the, you know, soul and melody, and just his voice doesn't support that for me. But when Drake sampled, was it the Chicago freestyle?
Yes.
When he sampled Eminem, that was clearly the best part of the song, and I really wanted to hear Eminem sing it. so if you got me on a track wanting to hear Eminem sing it, bro, just that's where my mental was. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, for me, as soon as I heard the word mixtape, I immediately switched my mind thinking of to what I was going to expect out of it. The same reason I like this is the same reason I like DJ Khaled. It's just because I know it's going to be a playlist. I know it's going to be a bunch of random thoughts you put together, including with the beats and everything. Like some of these beats didn't match to what you were saying. But I did. But me being an Eminem fan, I really did love the Chicago freestyle. But I feel like the best song on there was "Losses," and I really like hearing 40 talk in the beginning and on the end and all that. Even though what he was talking about had nothing to do with what Drake did said on that song, but I really enjoyed hearing just the whole randomness of the project. To me, is really what I enjoyed out of it, because Drake is usually the more structured person when it comes to his albums. His life moves in general sometimes are a lot more structured. And so I really enjoyed that part of the album. But the whole, I wasn't feeling demons, though. I'll tell you that much right now.
But you know what though, to your credit, because you said that, one of my favorite rappers of all time, and I'm saying this term very tight right now because I know Drake's not just a rapper, you know, he sings and blah, blah. Just other people do, but you know what I'm saying? He's got a better singing voice, I guess. But one of my favorite rappers is Lil Wayne, and he had a lot of great songs, and people would argue that mixtape Wayne was better than album Wayne, and I could kind of argue that sometimes. But on his mixtapes, he had a lot of fire on there, but he also had some songs I just wasn't into. And I never really gave him heat for like not bringing heat the whole time. And he used to also claim to be the best and be a rap god and blah blah. And I just think maybe now that I'm older, it's like, there's a age limit to where you can say this and then you got to stop. And I think what bothers me is that there's certain guys, you know, they're not gonna stop. You know what I'm saying? So like Drake, I was just like, bro, you don't gotta toy with the mixtape no more. You don't gotta do this and that. Like, really come with some hard stuff, especially after people came at you for ghostwriting. I think I'm just not willing to give him a pass because I'm like, bro, you got something to work for. You know what I mean? Because I was sticking by your side when people's coming at you for being soft, bro. So I feel like you got something to prove.
And just last year, he dropped like a little project that had a bunch of his Lucy's already. So like this wasn't really necessary. He drops a Lucy here and there. He does plenty of features. He just dropped 2C Slide. He didn't really need this as far as like a career booster or for maybe like the only thing I can think of is a money grab, because it's going to be, even though it's a quote unquote mixtape, it's going to be on streaming platforms and he's going to get paid because of it.
Keeps your name in the works.
Yeah. That's the only thing I can think of. And it's just like, dude, like you could just talk about that you're going to come on this summer, or just drop in the summer and people are going to go crazy because you're Drake. You're arguably one of the biggest artists in the world. So you don't need this like unnecessary, weird, combination of music and songs to try to boost your name. And since we already touched on it, like he said, he's going to drop his album this summer, his confirmed 6th studio project. So I don't want to hear any excuses from there. And the other thing I also want to talk about real quick, since we mentioned him earlier as well too, is Eminem. Eminem confronted somebody in his home while his security team was asleep.
Wow.
And I just want to start off by saying that, first of all, I'm surprised that Eminem had to deal with that, with how like much money I assume he has, and that his security team was asleep. Why would you not have something else that could possibly a dogs or something, or like, like a team, like a unit, like Roman? I don't know. That's just crazy to me that somebody can walk in his house. They said this dude was like stalking him for like 6 months.
Damn.
And he still made it to the front house?
Crazy.
Y'all remember that song Stan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah, we talked about that earlier, fam. Come on, G. What are you doing? Like, do you like him or do you like him like him? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes no sense. Like, how do you fall asleep guarding one of the biggest names in America, in the world at that point, guarding one at his house? I wouldn't sleep a wink, bro. If I was sitting there, he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna pay you. First of all, I'm gonna pay you just to be in my mansion and just stay awake for the night until I wake up." First of all, so for everybody that has Disney Plus, it reminds me of that one scene in A Bug's Life. Like, you fired. That's exactly what I would say when I woke up. Yeah, you fired. Y'all asleep.
Let me submit my application right now.
Yeah.
So, real question is, why was Eminem awake? Is he back on the? Is he hopped up on the? No.
Well, they said his alarm system went off and it woke him up, but somehow his security team slept through the alarm. It wasn't until I guess he confronted the person that was the intruder of his home, and I guess he yelled for security, and they came right away. Apparently.
Whoa. Well, I mean,
Wait. They heard the alarm and didn't come. They had to wait for him to call them to come.
We don't know.
That's the original story that I had read, that they slept through the alarm and that he had to yell for security for them to arrive.
Man, oh man.
I don't know about this one, fam.
Imagine filling out that resume. I used to be a security for Eminem until we fell asleep. Can I work with you?
Bro, I run security with the Navy. I'll do that shit. Eminem, if you're looking for someone to hire, I got gun skills. I could do all that shit.
Hey, you know what's messed up? Eminem just went through 12 years of sobriety. I bet you after that he was thinking, boy, I could use a drink.
Yeah, I can use a drink. I can do the same damn thing.
Man.
That's a huge accomplishment, man. Congrats on Eminem.
It is. Congratulations to him.
For sure, man. That's definitely no laughing matter. And especially with the way a lot of his fans treat him, as far as oh man, I wish he was back to his old self. And it's you're basically asking for him to be going through dark times again and for him to struggle and stuff. And,
you gotta think of it. The same thing with Cudi. A lot of people wanted high Cudi so they can get his first 2 projects,
which is just nuts because you can't recreate that stuff. When those things come out, whether it was a high experience or not, it's never going to be the same.
It's like
you're never going to get anything like it. And besides that, why would you want the same thing over and over again? Because then we'll sit here and talk about how he doesn't change, he doesn't evolve, he doesn't grow.
He's not trying to change or modify his brand to improve himself. He's just trying to stick to the same formula.
You want the old Cudi? Yeah, I want the old Cudi. Here you go.
You want the old Cudi? Go on Spotify, Apple Music, and listen to those damn first 2 albums. That's what you need to do. Shit.
I think we're gonna see B Rabbit. I think that's what we're gonna get.
Wow.
I think he's upset. I think he's gonna take it out on MGK.
Wow.
I think he's gonna come after Nick Cannon. I think he's
that reminded me about Drake, the whole Drake thing. I'm surprised that he's even making soft music anymore after being booed like that. So
the only people laughing are all those damn kids that were at Flog Gnaw booing him. Kids right now that's having a great time. I'm not having a good time about this. I wish I enjoyed it a little bit more, but I'm hopeful.
Album this summer, don't worry, he's dropping. Also, just want another huge congratulations to Iggy Azalea and Playboi Carti. If the reports are true, they allegedly had a child in the past week. Their time together and stuff like that is kind of pretty securely under wraps. So nothing is super confirmed or denied. But if they did have a child, congratulations to the 2 of them.
This is the question I was going to bring up since I don't have social media. When the heck did this happen?
This supposedly happened not the weekend that just passed, but the previous weekend.
Daniel, I'm gonna be very honest, bro. I'm on social media. I had no idea these people were connected at all or pregnant.
They've been in a relationship for a couple of years now, actually.
Congratulations.
The last I heard of her was when she broke up with Swaggy P, and that's the last I heard her name. And all of a sudden, she got a baby.
That was in 2016, maybe 17 at the latest.
Hey, congratulations to their mixed baby. 33% Australian, 33% black, and 33% silicone. I'm really happy.
And last but not least, in the world of music, Mac Miller's classic project Kids has now been added to all streaming platforms. So go ahead and, if you guys are a fan of Mac Miller, go ahead and check that out. To your
Nice.
heart's content. Moving on to movies and TV, Charlie Cox, who was Netflix's Daredevil, says that if the Daredevil cameo rumors are true, then it will be with a different actor and that he will not be portraying Daredevil anytime soon, which is super unfortunate because I'm sure a lot of people were probably looking forward to that crossover, or to to them even just making a small appearance, the Netflix characters to the big screen. A lot of people were looking forward to that in Avengers Endgame, and it didn't happen, obviously. So I'm sure people were looking forward to this too. Along with that rumor, though, about the Spider-Man 3 thing, Tom Hardy, who plays the role of Eddie Brock, who is the character who would Tom Hardy, who portrays Eddie Brock, who is the host for the symbiote Venom, also keeps teasing that Spider-Man is going to be in Venom 2. I don't know how true or not true that is. Tom Holland hasn't said anything, and I know he's not the biggest secret keeper, so looking forward to seeing if there's a cameo at least, or if he'll have a bigger role in that film. Either way, I'm sure it would be awesome, and people will love it, but only time will tell. And I know you sports fans will be super keen to this one. The title for Space Jam 2 has been revealed by LeBron James, and it's called Space Jam: A New Legacy. So this is legit, folks. We're getting it for real this time. Finally getting Space Jam 2.
What do you mean finally? Nobody asked for Space Jam 2. It was perfectly fine with Michael Jordan, Bugs Bunny, and them. It was set. They won. The Monstars got sent back home. We good. Nobody asked for this.
I'm not saying people asked for it, but I've been hearing about Space Jam 2 since I was like in middle school. Not necessarily with LeBron James, but I've heard rumors about another Space Jam movie coming out since
Exactly.
I was like, high school, early adulthood. It's always been a rumor, and then like it wasn't until like a year or two ago where like they were like legit LeBron James is officially attached to the film, and now he just recently released on Instagram a photo of like I think it was him in a hat, and then it said Space Jam: A New Legacy, and I was like, oh,
that's
really
actually something I'm not too. You're right. This has been the topic since I was a child. I'm 20. I'm about to turn 30 this year. Born in 1990. That movie came out in the 90s, right? And it was a great movie, Space Jam, one of my favorites. When I was probably after 10, 11, 12 years old, we were talking about it back then. Man, they should make a Space Jam too. But it was always about Kobe. Yeah. And I feel like if you put LeBron, and no hate to LeBron, man, I get it. But it kind of makes it feel so weird now because Kobe's gone. And then LeBron had that whole "I'm gonna live out your legacy" thing, or finish this, or whatever he said. He's LeBron, so he's got to say something. And people took offense to him saying that. But I feel like if you do it movie wise, I just don't want people who never really seen them ball like that to make the case for, oh, but LeBron got his movie like Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Because I just don't want to sleep on Kobe's legacy, and that's who I remember it always being about. Kobe. Yeah. So I wasn't looking forward to a Space Jam 2. Am I going to watch it? Yeah. And just because now I got a peep game. But I remember it, the thought always being Kobe to be like Jordan. He has the same moves. He sticks out the tongue. He's a killer instinct. Good on defense. He ball hog when he got to be. Great teammate. Just wins. But then the movie was like the last thing. He even got almost as many rings, close numbers to each other. Even what was it? His Olympic number, Jordan's was like 9 and Kobe's was 10. Like it was like everything was like one off, just a little different. So everything was about Kobe and Jordan. Space Jam is Michael Jordan. Now we gotta put LeBron's name next to it. It almost feels like you're solidifying like something, and you're also putting the word legend in it. Legacy. Is what you call it, right? So it's a little a part of me is okay with the idea because it's sports and I get it. Another part of me is kind of like a little sour because of my childhood expectations.
Did I ever tell y'all my crazy theory about Space Jam?
No.
Where they tried to turn Michael Jordan. Well, pretty much they depicted Michael Jordan as Jesus. And the monster.
Welcome back to another installment of
Oh man, you hit that perfect timing on that one, Brandon. Yeah,
I'm serious. Hear me out though. Mess with me one time, okay? Let me get this out of my head. So check it out. All right, the Monstars are the fallen angels, okay? And they're over here taking the spirit from the people, okay? And then everybody's following Michael Jordan around. It was the height of his career, right when Jesus was at the height of his his messages. And guess how long Michael Jordan was gone for, fam? Watch the movie again. He was gone for 3 days, and that boy came back in from in that spaceship. He came back in that spaceship, and he had the whole light, the white light behind him. The boy walking out like he was a resurrected Jesus. Go back and watch the movie, and then tell me if you see what I see.
If anyone else out there really likes movies and wants Daniel to ruin them with his Jesus conspiracies, please feel free to message the group. any genre, any topic, you know what I'm saying? I'm not even gonna everything he's saying. I mean, when you think about it that way, it makes sense. But I can't, man. I can't.
That's so wild. How did you watch that as a kid and come up with all that? That's so crazy.
No. I didn't think of that theory until I was older, and I thought back, and I was like, wait a minute. But
I would say 12-year-old Daniel.
Because now when I watch movies, I can see it. Like when I was watching Godzilla, I was like, they made him Jesus. But that's for a different way.
Surrounded by Asians, got it. Yeah.
No, because when they killed him.
Okay,
all right.
Say it for the next Daniel's Conspiracy Corner. We'll be back.
I got 2 more times to do this for 4 corners. Okay, 2 more times.
Jesus Live from Taiwan coming next.
Real quick, did anybody check out
how long was Kim Jong-Un dead for?
Wow. Don't even. Okay, relax.
Just asking.
Relax. We'll bring it back. Don't worry. Did anybody check out that special one-off episode of Parks and Rec? I've watched that whole series, but I didn't catch it. I don't know if anybody else here is a huge fan of that or not.
I started watching it like a year ago, and I watched like 3 episodes, and I started watching The Office again. And it's not because it's not because I wasn't interested. I think I kind of forgot.
The Office is better for sure. I mean,
okay.
That's not even a debate,
I feel secure. I feel secure now. Thank you.
So we don't even need to talk about that then. It was like a special one-off for like the COVID stuff or whatever. So, I just know that there's a new episode of the Parks and Rec out there, in case anybody's wondering. I don't know if you guys know who the Russo brothers are, but they're the directors who helped make Captain America Winter Soldier, Captain America Civil War, Avengers Infinity War, as well as Avengers Endgame. Apparently, they are reportedly working on a live-action Hercules film for Disney. First and foremost, and probably the only thing I'm going to say about this is I think Hercules is a cool movie. The last thing, but the important thing that I want to point out, though, is the muses. Black Twitter and pretty much probably most Black people in America believe that that's going to be a major part of the film and will either make or break this film. I'm one of those people who actually does agree because the muses were very animated, and I feel that there are a lot of prominent Black women in today's society who could fill those roles very well. A lot of people were going for like singers rather than personalities. I feel like, in my opinion, from what I've seen,
we have both though. I mean, I think 2 of them are hands down. 2 of them are hands down Beyonce and Jennifer Hudson. I mean, right? Like
people, those are like the 2 that I see the most. I've also, my opinion was the biggest one. I thought should be Lizzo personally, because she was a little bit extra. She was a little bit louder. She's a little bit more. As far as the muses were concerned, so I thought Lizzo would be perfect for that role because Lizzo's a little bit extra. She's a little bit, louder and rambunctious or whatever. So I thought that'd be a perfect fit. Jill Scott could be good too, but I just feel like Jill Scott's more of a great singer and not as like loud or rambunctious, in my opinion, at least. I don't know. Maybe you guys seen something else that I ain't seen yet. I mean, I ain't seen that microphone video, so I don't know.
Man, but Jill Scott looked like she make her own maple syrup. You feel me? Like you come over, have some pancakes, and she bust out this chunky looking thing. Like, what's this? That's me in my maple. Okay, Jill.
I have seen the video that you referenced, and I had to go straight to church after that. So,
yo,
forgive me, Father. Okay.
Are there any talks of picking the Hercules yet, or no?
I haven't heard anything as far as rumors or speculation about who they want actually filling the characters. The main talk that I have seen is just from like people like generally discussing the muses, but I haven't heard anything as far as like who they want to cast as Hercules, Felicities, any of that stuff. So I mean, only time will tell. But it's happening, so I'm sure we're gonna get some casting information out here within the next couple of months or so. all online. Next up, another famous director from the Marvel movie franchises, Taika Waititi. He's setting to direct the new Star Wars film. It's going to actually be released to theaters and not going to be like a Disney Plus film. So it's going to be a major Star Wars film. Nothing else has been revealed other than that. This is all for. Oh, by the way, if you guys didn't know, we're recording this on May 4th, so May the 4th be with you. But so there's a new Star Wars film coming out. We have no idea what time frame it takes place in. Old Republic. Somebody was like, "Oh, they'd be sick if they did like a Clone Wars movie, like not like Attack of the Clones, but like a movie set during the Clone Wars period." People were saying if it's the another trilogy. We don't know what the hell is going on. I just know that Taika Waititi has done some pretty good work. I don't know that I really want to see another Star Wars film from Disney personally. I think they should just let it go. But I mean, everybody has their own opinions, and opinions are like assholes, right, guys?
I think that talking about Disney, since it's May the 4th, with the Star Wars things, I think that I would be more content if they just made the one-offs. You know how they had like the Star Wars, the Rogue One, how Rogue One was such a huge success, and obviously Solo wasn't as strong. I think that I would prefer more, instead of going into a new trilogy, just like dropping. I know there's hundreds, like thousands and thousands of people that want a Kenobi movie. Like getting a Kenobi movie, or getting like a standalone Kenobi movie, and then getting a standalone Maul movie, or a standalone Fett movie. Like those are some of the things that I think that I would be more interested in watching, just because it gives more story and lore for that person, you know?
So for me, for example, right? Like I hear what you're saying, definitely, and like Kenobi would be super dope, I guess. Like that's one of my favorite Jedis. But my thing for them specifically is like we have pretty much all of Kenobi's story. You know, we have when he was a Padawan, we have when he was a master, we have pretty much what he did during him being General Kenobi, and we even have what he did when he was an old man. You know, so we know how Darth Maul dies, like legitimately this time. Not, he didn't get cut in half. He didn't almost die, or he almost died in the Clone Wars, but he legitimately died way later in life. He has that hologram in the Solo movie, Solo: A Star Wars Story, whatever, right? We know that Obi-Wan Kenobi did the job. Like it's just we have these little bits and pieces. The only other thing that we could really add is like things that wouldn't really have like a heavy impact on the story wise, increase lore like you're saying, but it would pretty much just be like feats, and that's about it. By the way, if you guys didn't know, there's a new death battle out of Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Kakashi. I'm gonna let you guess who you think won, but I'm gonna let you know who did win. No, I'm just kidding. I ain't gonna spoil it for you, but check that out. Anyway, but it wouldn't really impress me so much. I'd rather see something almost original, and for me, the only way to go, in my opinion, is the Old Republic. Let's see that story like well done out. I want to see those, like there was like all the cinematics from the game Star Wars: The Old Republic. I want to see a movie about all that, the badassery of like an army of Jedis and an army of Siths. Let's go at it like that. That would be the perfect way to go, instead of like wasting this high budget for these basic ass like Star Wars movies. And you got people on YouTube creating these wonderful works of art choreography wise, Yeah, and then we get Kylo and Rey, and it's just like, dude, seriously, this is what we get.
That was one of the worst things about this new trilogy, is the fact that like the new trilogy's lightsaber battles, I'm just gonna go on for a little tangent, were trash compared to, like, I'm not even gonna say the original trilogy, because the original trilogy was not focused more on those battles, more on the space opera itself, but you saw all the possibilities with the prequels, and then you see everything in Clone Wars, like if you have not seen the Clone Wars TV show, the new season 7, just not spoiling anything, but Darth Maul's actual actor that plays Darth Maul in the episode 1 came back to do the choreography for a lot of the stuff that he was doing in the Clone Wars animated TV show, and stuff like there was so much possibility, and they just dropped the ball. And that's one of the things I didn't like about the new trilogy.
That's what people even said about the old Republic, like cinematics. Like there's like flipping and like bending backwards to dodge, and like all kinds of like crazy lightsaber combinations and deflections, and it's just like that. Even like it's like compared to what we saw in the newer trilogy, it's just like, dude, like you guys dropped the ball completely. I understand it's a newer generation. Maybe you want to make it more kid friendly because it's Star Wars, but kids like to see people get their ass kicked too. People want to see badass lightsaber moves. Oh wow, look at what they did. It's like you can entertain them way easier with a couple flips and like clashing the sabers once or two times. But who doesn't want to see some badass choreography?
Yeah.
Hi, kids. You like violence?
Exactly. Eminem had it right. See, you like violence? Yes, they do. They want to see it, but Disney dropped the ball on it. It still made money, so it's whatever. And we're probably never going to see those actors and actresses again in a Star Wars film, which is fine with me. So, let's try to give Taika's new film a chance, but
Yeah, because
until we get more information, we won't know what's going on.
yeah, specifically the Old Republic, because we always talk about the Jedi Council and all that, and how they have their school with all the Padawans and all that. Nobody really knows, unless you read the books like I have. Nobody really knows they had a whole planet full of Sith. That they had their school there. That's where they had Darth Bane, and their Darth Bane is the reason why there's only two Siths. You could do that whole story right there, and
Yep.
he started in that school on that planet, and you can see that's all the old Sith start. You can see Darth Sidious's old story, Darth Revis's old stories, Darth Bane's old stories, like I said before, Darth Cognus's old stories. These are a bunch of names people don't know about in Star Wars now.
Yeah.
That brings so much new lore to the brand of Star Wars. They have the perfect opportunity right here if they would just go back and do something instead of trying to don't give me no agenda. Whatever movie you make, do not fill it with agenda. Give me Star Wars or give me death. Okay.
I don't know if you're aware of this, Daniel, but in Attack of the Clones, I think, right? I don't know what season it was, but there was a season where Yoda actually came face to face with Darth Bane's Force Ghost.
That was season 6. Season 6, the final season before it got canceled. The last arc. Spoilers if you haven't seen it, it's 5 years old by now. But the very last arc of the Clone Wars animated TV show is Yoda's quest to figure out about the rule of two and all that sort of stuff.
So it's introduced, but we don't have any live action footage of all that stuff though. But
Yoda reminds me of this bum that used to live across the street from my old house. He used to try to sell me candy for like 3 times the price. And then he talked like him too. He was like, "Buy it, you will." Hey, ready? I'm cool, bro. I just came for some Cheeto Puffs. Yeah, good stuff. I have no idea what you guys are talking about, so I had to share that real life story with you. Hey, listen, it's in the title, by the uncultured, okay? Some of us just don't gravitate. It's all good.
It's all gravy. It's all gravy.
I'm sitting here learning though, like, season 6, yep. Got it.
Moving on to sports real quick. I don't think anybody really cares that Andy Dalton was released from the Bengals.
But he got picked up by the Cowboys though.
Yes, that did happen for like $7 million or something.
Talk about the upgrade move for him, though.
Oh yeah,
good for Andy Dalton. Shoot.
In other sports news, Jay Cutler cut off his wife and tells her to get a job.
That was great. It's not like it started off like that. Give the backstory on that one.
So like a week ago, I think Daniel had sent us a link about the divorce that Jay Cutler sent his wife. It was on like E! Entertainment or something like that, or E! News. And they're basically just kind of going on the details. And I had mentioned that, like, man, if this was like a black man doing this to like a black woman, it would be like, oh my gosh, like everybody would be coming for him, like, oh, like you're so disrespectful, like you ain't right or whatever. And I was like, because it's like 2 white people, it's kind of like not that big of a deal. But now it's getting messy and it looks like it's getting a little bit juicy. What my lips are wet now. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that serious. But the crazy thing is, so yeah, he basically froze his accounts because she wanted $5 million to buy her own mansion. And I guess he froze his bank account so that she couldn't get access to money. And he told her basically to get a job. They've been having a little bit of marital problems. It seems like there was nothing that anybody from the fan of their show. I didn't even know they had a live action show, or not a live action show, but a reality TV show until I saw that in the article, saying that there was never any real signs of them getting divorced at all. They say supposedly she was blindsided by it. And that he hit her with it all of a sudden. I don't know the intricacies of the relationship or what's going on, but it kind of seems like they both want the kids, and all that nonsense. And obviously Jay Cutler's an ex NFL player. He's retired, quote unquote, and he's probably got a little bit of money in his pocket. I'm sure they both have money in their pocket from the reality show. I don't remember the title of the reality show. I don't even think it was that big of a deal or whatever, but yeah, so there's that legal dispute, and I believe we kind of were having a little bit of discussion of kind of like what is kind of okay, or how how we think this should play out or whatever. I don't know if one of you guys wants to take the lead.
Bruh, let me start. Let me go in real quick. This is JB, everybody. It's her fault, okay? This man was born in Santa Claus, Indiana. Now you gonna expect some real chop from a guy who's from a fantasy place? Come on, man. Come on, man. Off tops. He is. Look it up. It
What is
exists.
called Santa Claus?
Santa Claus, Indiana. Look it up.
That's crazy.
Look it up. And also, I would like to thank Umar Johnson for opening this topic up for us. Because he hit the nail on the head with that one. If this was a black dude doing it to a black woman, they would have drugged this man, unless it was on World Star Hip Hop or Hip Hop Wives or something like unless it was TV.
Yeah.
They would give him crap about it, and then they would forget it 2 weeks later when the next ratchet thing happens. So big ups on that. That's big facts. And also, I heard that he went behind her back and got this divorce because he found out that she was trying to divorce him. So it's not like, yeah.
That's why I was giving him the clap, bro. Because pause. That's why I was. That's why I was clapping it up. That's why I was clapping it up for him, because I was just like, usually it's the dude that gets blindsided by this. Usually it's the guy that's just out there like, oh yeah, we love her for each other. She's like, nah, not forever until you sign this paper. And then so I was actually impressed that he had the not the hindsight, with what's the word I'm looking for here?
Foresight.
Yeah, the foresight to go ahead and be like, okay, no, I see the red flags. She got more red flags in the Chinese parade, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say, I'm just gonna go ahead and stop this right now. So I don't know what was happening behind the scenes. Like, there's not a lot of leeway. I don't know when he decided to do it, but I do know one thing though. Women, they come, they go. Saturday through Sunday, Monday through Sunday, yo.
Tying it back to Eminem and Drake now? Wow.
And to make it pretty simple, all Jay Cutler did was audible into a play action. Boom! Hike the ball. I'm on his side on this one, man. Screw that TV life. Okay, you trying to get divorced? Guess what? Freeze my assets. You not taking none of my moolah, period. Oh, you want a $5 million house? Kiss my ass, bitch. There's essential jobs hiring.
Yeah, that's it. It leads us back to a conversation we had a couple weeks ago. It's like, you wasn't with me shooting in the gym. You wasn't on the field with me. You wasn't taking these hits.
You was nowhere to be found when your husband was getting clowned out there for looking like a goofy dude that went from the Broncos to the Bears and still sucked. Where were you then?
Well, I just want to make sure that we give somewhat of a fair judgment on that, just because let's not forget that even with his fame and prestige and the millions of dollars he's making, he had to make his bed, obviously, and they had kids, and obviously she was probably at home taking care of them. Maybe not all the time, and maybe they had a nanny because they had enough money, but obviously that was probably more so her routine, was being involved with the kids and doing whatever they need to do from there. I remember they were both in the show The League together with their baby, and I think like there was like a funny episode where like they like accidentally took Jay Cutler's wife's breast milk or something like that, and then like fed it to their kid, and he had like a cannon all of a sudden for an arm. It was like something ridiculous like that. But I personally don't like to downplay that, because I think that's a significant role. Even though like I understand from the male's perspective, like he's out there working on the field however many times he is a week, he's taking the flights or whatever, he's taking the hits or whatever, risking his body out there.
Of course.
But that's the profession he chose. And for most men coming up, we're raised to try to be the breadwinners for our household. You know what I mean? So it's different than like if like he married her way later in his career, and then like she was just there for the money and they didn't have no kids or nothing. I don't want to downplay that, because that is a significant role in any marriage. Having a relationship, having a partner, doing whatever it is doing whatever she does at home while he's taking care of whatever he's taking care of on the field. Yeah.
I get it, but I just don't think you throw out a number like 5 million. Like you don't just want a house. Like, you're just throwing out acres now.
I know plenty of nice houses for $200K. I'm just saying.
Take your ass to Georgia, get you a compound. You know what I'm saying? 5 million. Loca.
Moving on from there, from sports to games, which is basically the same thing, anyways. Real quick, there's a concept for the Xbox Series X called the Xbox Oris, and basically it's like a reimagining of the design, and it basically would come with a built-in speaker and 8K projector. The reason why to me this is significant is because as consoles move on and they have to add more things and develop new, obviously like the major developments for consoles are usually like RAM, storage space, graphics, things like that. So it runs smoother, it runs faster. You can do, it can handle more. It looks way better, things like that. And then and as far as consoles too, like from PlayStation to PlayStation 2, they added a DVD player. From PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3, they added a Blu-ray player. Um, and obviously they added in built-in Wi-Fi to the PS3 as well, so that you didn't have to get like another piece to attach to the PlayStation to make it wireless internet or connect it to have to be forced to connect it with the Ethernet cable, right?
Mm-hmm.
PS4, I'm not really sure what the big improvement was personally for the PS4 from the PS3. I just know it was a graphical enhancement. It obviously runs faster. I think it goes up to like a maximum like 60 frames per second. Same thing for PS4 Pro. It just that was mainly just
It was
a slight
necessary.
graphical improvement.
There was
Yeah, slight
there was
graphical
an
improvement.
overheating factor too. It was like
Yeah,
cosmetic things too.
yeah, and then the hard drive went from 500 gigabytes to 1 terabyte, things like that. So for the PS4 or for the PS5, and for the Xbox Series X, I am pretty much curious as to what they're going to have besides just a graphic overhaul. I know PlayStation's talking about releasing the first or the 100 most popular games from PlayStation 4 onto the PS5, which is cool. But I would like to see something like this, built-in speakers or built-in projectors, something like that. That would kind of change the face of the game so that you kind of eliminate that middleman for the TV. It's like, bro, we'll just kind of like Daniel's always talking about, oh, get a projector, get a projector. Well, it's like, I don't even have to get a projector now. I'll just push this projector. I'll just project it from my console, and that'll be that. You know what I mean?
I know they're putting a serious wrinkle in my hustle right now. Like,
You could, but see, the thing is, it might not sway somebody into playing a different system. There's definitely people who are not going to want to play Xbox no matter what they put on there. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah, for sure.
So if you want a projector, you could spend $400 or $500 on a projector and save a few hundred, as opposed to this game system that you probably not going to prefer the games in. You
Oh
know?
yeah. Well, I meant more so that the creative aspects of it could benefit both sides potentially.
Oh yeah, not
But
knocking that.
and it's more just of like a thought versus like a reality for us at this time, anyways.
Mm.
I just think it would be cool to have to be able to get everything in one place. Because I remember when I was in basic training in like the PS4, the Xbox One had just come out. People were buying these little suitcases where like in the suitcase it had like a little screen, and
Mhm.
it was perfectly fit for your console, so you could put the console in and you could play it wherever you're at. So it was just built for the console, charges it up a little bit, and you could play it on the little screen right there. It was basically like a portable way to play your big at home consoles, right? So I just think that idea would be cool to do for big consoles, but in a more of a I can set it up wherever sense versus like, oh, just plug it into this real quick and it's good to go. Like, no, just throw some speakers on that bad boy and then throw it on whatever wall of your house and you're good to go. Like that. And it could be as big as you want it to be, basically, because it's a projector, or as small as you want it to be.
Yeah.
So it definitely would be a game changer in that aspect. And I'm sure,
I could see like a foldable tablet that opens up into like you seen those phones that bend where they could actually bend.
yeah,
I could see one of those flipping out twice into four with like a stand where you could literally put in your backpack with the consoles now are pretty large, but
yeah, for sure.
I can see it slimming down pretty soon. Like after this one, it's gonna go down to when you had the minis, and they could put so much power on here, and you're getting direct line service instead of doing Wi-Fi. You're getting like data now and stuff. You know what I mean? So who knows? I mean, we grew up in the era of having the old school gaming, where I remember when Nintendo 64 was like the coolest thing.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And then we had Nintendo, Super Nintendo, GameCube, PlayStation 1, the original Xbox. Remember Halo was jumping off. And then you had so we had a Dreamcast. Man, I said I got Gamecast, can't afford it. All of that, man. I remember the evolution and see where it's at now, especially now we got VR and people doing concerts inside of video games. Where it's only going into a place where it's like, man, the possibilities are going to be endless.
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
gaming.
I don't know if you guys are big fans or not of Assassin's Creed, but Assassin's Creed made a new announcement. The next game is going to be called Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Basically, Vikings. A trailer dropped for it. Looks pretty dope. I know the last game was Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and that was like Greek based. The one before that was Assassin's Creed Origins, and I think that was like in Egypt or something. And pretty much they kind of pick a place and they kind of put an assassin there. They had I think one of them was like in France or whatever. That Assassin's Creed Syndicate or Paris or whatever. Unity, I think it was in Italy. I know Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and Revelations was in a. That was in, I want to say Rome for some reason, but I could be wrong. I just know it was Ezio Auditore, and that was like everybody's favorite character. Connor, there was one in America during like the American Revolution. The first one obviously was like medieval times and shit. It was crazy. But yeah, there's a lot of games and it's still going. And next we're gonna get Vikings, so I'm interested to see how that'll factor in. I actually kind of was thinking that it's funny because that's basically what God of War just did, because they switched from Greek gods to I guess that's Norse mythology. So I'm curious if they're gonna be doing any of that. If we're gonna see any kind of like Norse gods. I know there was like an image. And then, like, the main character kind of stood up and said, like, Odin is with us. So I wonder if we'll see gods and you can get other stuff besides just, like, the hidden blade and, like, fight and things like that. But only time will tell, obviously. That's what we always say, right? Last but not least, I think DJ just shared some information with us about the Call of Duty Warzone updates. Are you still there, DJ?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh yeah, go ahead and let us know what's going on.
So, in an article from Infinity War being the main developer on the Call of Duty Modern Warfare franchise, and from Raven Studios happens to be the developer that's in charge of most of the Warzone content. In a report that came out, I believe it was yesterday or 2 days ago, saying that Call of Duty Warzone will continue to be a completely updated game, just as Fortnite, PUBG, and all the other battle royales up past the lifespan of the current Modern Warfare game. They say that it's the main reason why it wasn't called Call of Duty Modern Warfare Warzone. It's just called Call of Duty Warzone. So this battle royale will live past the average lifespan of a Call of Duty game, which is one of the firsts for Call of Duty in general. So when the next Call of Duty comes out, whatever that is called, Warzone will be updated to include those weapons, those characters, as well as they've also announced that as soon as the new consoles come out, there will be an updated version for the PS5, the Xbox Series X. So Warzone will be here to stay for the next couple of years by the looks of it.
Oh yeah, the ladies are in trouble. Yes.
I remember that was actually one of my first fears that I told DJ about Warzone was like, why are we going to play this when it's just going to become obsolete in like 3 or 4 months? Because, the next Call of Duty game comes out usually towards the end of the year. And I was like, we're going to like waste our time playing this. And then it's just going to be nothing in like a couple months. But if it's going to stick around, then I'm excited and I'm here for it. I like it. I enjoy it. We played it a lot. So I will continue to play it then.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much it, guys. We can just move on to something you're messing with, and I'll start off as usual. And I'm gonna just talk about this Apple Watch that I dropped.
Yeah.
That I dropped a couple bands for. Now I'm just playing.
Wow. Wow.
And,
got the diamond cut stainless steel. Oh, okay, I see you.
But in all sincerity, though, I had contemplated this for a while. And I had a couple friends who just recommended it. Keeping track of like my activity and my movement and things like that, and also being able to do things from my phone. Like I can, send text messages from my watch instead. I can answer my phone from my watch, various things like that. Play music from my watch. I can activate my phone from my watch, and it's just kind of useful in that regard. And not having to really pull out my phone all the time. I can just look at my watch as soon as a message comes in and go, "Oh, cool, I can read it" or whatever. I can talk to Siri through my watch, etc. It's pretty useful. I like it. I enjoy it. It's super lightweight. It doesn't feel constricting at all, especially with the band. I actually bought another band, but I can't seem to get it to work. It's super annoying. But I mean, I enjoy it so far. I like it. And, it was definitely affordable. I got the biggest frame because I have these fat little sausage fingers. So I just wanted to make sure that I wouldn't like press multiple things at the same time all the time.
You got to use your pinky.
Yeah, for real. Right. All right. Whoever's next.
Not it.
I mean, I can
I-
I can go since everyone's being quiet.
Go
So
ahead.
in
Don't everybody rush at once.
yeah, I know, right? In celebration of May the 4th, obviously May the 4th being one of the not so canon but kind of canon holidays for Star Wars universe.
See,
The final season of Clone Wars ended just recently. The final episode was played, I believe it was a couple of days ago. So the last episode, episode 12, was released on Disney Plus. And for the people that don't know, it's a show that went on hiatus for about 5 years. They canceled it after, or not 5 years, it was like 4 years or something like that, after Disney had canceled it due to them receiving the rights to Lucasfilm and all of the Star Wars properties. The series as a whole, I'm not going to spoil anything, but the series as a whole was a good series. It contained 12 full episodes, 4 of them that contained the missing episodes or the unfinished episodes that first came out when about the Bad Batch, when they were about to announce the 7th season all those time ago, and then the final arc is about Ahsoka wrapping up a lot of the questions that people had about the Clone Wars, and basically, if you didn't know at this point, moving it towards Star Wars Rebels, which is another animated TV show that came out that is canon with the same series. It does focus on a lot of the same aspects. So if you're into the animated Star Wars, if you want to watch the Clone Wars, it's a good time to watch it all. You can binge watch it now on Disney Plus. It's all complete. You can finally watch it from beginning to end. It coincides directly with episode 3, and it leads you directly into Star Wars Rebels in a way that allows you to watch the whole thing as a whole. I highly recommend it. It was a good show, good opportunity. My kids loved it, so it's great for people that are trying to bond with their kids too.
and don't forget, Ahsoka Tano is set to make a debut in The Mandalorian season 2. So if you want to know more about her, definitely check out Star Wars Clone Wars, or check out Star Wars Rebels, because she makes appearances in there as well.
All right. For me, I like finding random movies to watch. I don't know. This might have been a big movie when it first came out, but I don't really know. It's called The House of Invictus. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of this one yet. It's got real Get Out and Us vibes to it. It's about a group of all black guys trying to get into an all black fraternity and an all black college, but it's like an historically all black college, but it's like the most evil way to get into one. And the guy's like he's like a fake priest and everything like that. It's really tripped out. So if you guys are into really twisted type of movies like that, it's on Amazon. It's called House of Invictus.
Check that out. Okay. Yeah, something I'm messing with. 2 weeks ago, I did like this big spring cleaning. Well, I'll say 3 weeks ago. I was spring cleaning and, kind of moved around some furniture. It's good to clear your space and kind of go through your nonsense and, just clean up pretty good. And I realized that, I haven't been exactly waking up at the right time every morning. I'm still getting okay sleep. I should be going to sleep earlier. But I was like, the alarm I got on my phone isn't doing the job. I'm used to it. You know how it sounds now. And I had this old clock radio that I've had since I was like, I don't know how old. And nothing was working. So I went right to Walmart and I got one of those big ass silver looking old school alarm clocks with the loud bell on it. And it's the best decision I've made. It wakes me up so fast. And it's loud, so it's like I'm scared to wake up anybody else. So I get up really quick, turn it off, and I'm already like ready to go in the shower. So I don't know if anybody else is kind of like struggling to wake up. Unless you have like a bunch of people in your house, you might want to like to switch, because this thing really worked. Like I used to just turn off my alarm on my phone and then keep snoozing and then keep snoozing and then keep snoozing. This thing, listen to this thing.
Oh my.
This thing, like this thing, yeah. Talk about a fire alarm. Wake that ass up. Just like in a little. It's one battery, fam. It's one battery in there, and I think it's it's a double A, and that shit just got me right. So I don't know. I just kind of wanted to give praise to the thing that got me back on track, and this $10 alarm clock thing has been doing it for me. So don't my advice is just don't be scared to switch up the way you're going about things, even as small as sleep, because you might really walk into something that's going to change your days.
Yeah.
All I got. That's what I'm messing with.
Well, all right, Piglets, this has been another installment of Culture by the Uncultured. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Culture by the Uncultured. Remember, Piglets, Culture by the Uncultured is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. We hope everyone out there is staying safe, and if you can't be safe, be deadly. Catch you guys next time. Later, Piglets.